Hey everybody, what's going on today? Emergency podcast. We've got Chris Marler, myself, Tyler Huck, College Football Uncensored. Breaking news today. Now, obviously, as we wait for Chris to become unmuted, there he is. Not
Guess who's
exactly
back?
these things broke today. USC and UCLA now officially, as we log on here to do this podcast, now officially have accepted their invitations to the Big Ten in what could be just the continuing of a domino effect here, starting last summer with the Texas and Oklahoma moves to the SEC.
Yeah.
This is insane. Your first thoughts?
One, it's frozen yogurt Thursday. So happy to all those. What, you drinking a little wine?
Yeah, I am.
What kind?
Little cab.
Okay. I'm a little nervous because my life went to shit right after the Texas Oklahoma announcement last year. So I can only imagine what happens this year with USC and UCLA. I will also say on a serious note, I don't mean like this makes no fucking sense because they're going to the Big Ten, but it brings back into play all the stuff about, like we heard last year about the two mega conferences of like 20 to 24 teams, which seems like almost inevitable. Nicole Auerbach from The Athletic, who big fan of our podcast, I'm sure. What's up, Riley Williams? Oh yeah, do we promote this? I did not. What's wrong with you? Why do you look so serious right now?
I'm listening to you try to make a point. I'm thinking. I don't know.
So it seems like inevitable. Nicole Auerbach brought up the point about how like she got off the phone with somebody today, and it could have been fucking anybody, but it was like about how there's going to end up being two mega conferences of 20 to 24 teams. And we heard that last year, and we thought it was kind of crazy. It was like, I made fun of Barstool for breaking it. Maybe it's real. I don't know.
Well, I would think it's definitely real at this point. I mean,
but why only two?
The move of USC to, because let's be honest. I mean, when you take USC and you add them to the Big Ten, and UCLA is a big name too, especially in other sports as well.
Every other sport.
That's a whole other conversation. Is I don't know, what's going to happen with that, because it's not like you're going to send the UCLA, men's soccer team to go play against Penn State in Pennsylvania. Like that's just not. That's a non-revenue sport. You can't make money on that. So
this is the best point.
I think that what's going to end up happening is you're going to have two large conferences that span coast to coast, and it'll be like the AFC, NFC. You'll have divisions within the big conferences that allow you to play most of your games in your region, and then you will occasionally, depending on the year, play a different, a different region. And ultimately, there'll be probably some playoff system within the two conferences, and then one ultimate championship game. That's where I think this is headed. What I think is going to be most fascinating is there are going to be many teams, potentially even rivalries in conferences like the ACC, in the Big 12, in the Pac-10, that are going to be split in the different super conferences. It's just really fascinating. I think one thing is for sure. I don't know if I can't remember where I saw this. I hate to not give credit where credit's due, but someone retweeted a tweet from 2011 where it was a prediction that says they're just going to be end up being two conferences. This was in 2011, ESPN and Fox.
Yeah.
And it's that's basically what this is happening, right? Because Fox has been Big 10, Pac-12, and ESPN, ACC, SEC, Big 12. I think that's where we're headed right now. This is all determined by network money in the first place,
which kind of sucks, man. Like I know we talked about the NIL stuff and how excited we are for these kids to get paid, but this kind of it's just becoming the NFL. There's a reason why people watch college football over the NFL, I think. And it's not going to, the sport's not going to stop, right? It's obviously if there wasn't money driving it and they weren't already doing crazy amounts of business, for lack of better words, then then they wouldn't have made this expansion. But the other part of it too is it's kind of weird. Is like you don't fucking know what this is gonna do to the sport. A lot of people, I don't know, a lot's the right word. I know a lot of people on fucking Facebook that are over the age of 50 and 60. They're like, I ain't watching this sport no more. After that, you just start paying all these kids money, and this whole thing about the morality issue, and they're see, I don't think it's gonna be big enough to impact the entire game, but you already see not going to games as much, and that's like right on the after part of all these massive expansions for stadiums, right? Like Bama builds 101,000. You have this arms race for stadium capacities in the SEC, where then like A&M starts building up. They have over 100,000 now. Tennessee's getting renovations done. Everyone's doing all these things to keep up with the Joneses, and now people aren't going to stadiums as much. And I don't think that's like as big of a deal, but I don't like I just don't know. Like the bowl games, like somebody brought this up too. Like what if like all of this seems like it was determined from numbers on a fucking sheet, like numbers on a page. And that part bothers me because it's like, if these are just projected things, like look how much money we could make instead of look at what the sport of college football is going to look like in 5-10 years, then that kind of sucks. Hello, Facebook user.
No, I agree, but ultimately that's where we're at, and everything is dictated by money these days, in general. So I don't think that they're going to think twice about what you and I feel about certain rivalries and the tradition of college football. It's completely changed. And to be honest with you, I don't know what you think, but I think the rest of the dominoes, or a lot of them, will fall quickly. Like, could you not see, but by the time football season really gets kicked off, we're mid-fall, that there's other announcements like Oregon's joining the Big Ten, Florida State, Clemson, Miami are joining the SEC. Like
Oregon State's going to get
that happening quick.
Cool.
Right.
I mean, I honestly hope not, because I was trying to take a fucking nap today, and then all this news broke, and we saw where that got us. But you're more logical than I am, so you're probably right. I just like it's such a weird, like, okay, let's also get into this real quick. Okay. Because this is one part that I don't feel like people are talking enough about. And it's coming from a complete place of pettiness. But let's not forget that Kevin Warren is a giant fucking asshole. And I hope that he's listening. Sometimes I say stuff about like coaches or people that, like, if we ever get big, like where we want to be, would probably be regrettable because they wouldn't come onto the show. But fuck right. Kevin Warren, just forever. And so, like, what people forget about that guy, he tried to have the entire fucking season canceled 2 years ago, not even 2 years ago. And now he does this power move. And if you remember what happened, he wanted to make a push to get like to 9 games. So he tries to get the season canceled, this whole fucking, pissing contest. And so he reaches out to the Pac-12 to form an alliance. And the Pac-12 was the first one to join his little alliance because he needed someone. And I think I compared it today on social media to like Scott Farkas from like the Christmas Story when he got that little midget sidekick with like all the snow coats. Like that guy.
I don't think you can say that anymore.
Oh yeah, winter clothes.
No, okay, yeah.
So, sorry, I said usually I'm like really. I feel like I'm pretty PC. Well, I'm not. I say bad words. But I'm like PC, right? I mean, whatever. All right. I want to be very clear that my anger is not towards little people; it's towards Kevin Warren. So, right. But he reached out to the Pac-12. He gets them, and the whole time it seemed like he was like a fucking lapdog. Like the guy from the Pac-12 was just kind of like, "Oh, what are we doing today, boss?" Like it was just very, very weird. And then 2 years later, I know it's a new commissioner, but it's the same conference you want to form the alliance with, and you take 2 of the biggest names, arguably the 2 biggest names in that conference. From a branding standpoint, USC is every bit of a national brand.
By the way, yeah, RIP Alliance. RIP the Alliance. 2020 to 2020. Yeah. 2022 to 2022.
You know who had a really good tweet about this? It was actually Connor. Connor tweeted something like the Michael Scott Paper Company lasted longer than the Alliance. I mean, and it really is like, I don't know. It's
user chiming in here.
Huh? Yeah, what's that about?
Facebook user. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't show the Facebook names here through the platform, but
I just assumed it was somebody who blocked me.
No.
Oh yeah, good point. I do love everybody.
So you're legitimately eating ice cream while we do this?
Yeah, why? What's the problem? It's all going to melt.
Yeah,
I knew
okay.
you were upset. I'll just let it melt. Liz spent like
so
30. Hold on real quick. Have you ever been to Menchie's?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I've been there. I know what it is though.
I can't fucking do it. Like I've gone there twice, and they like that you're in control of what you're allowed to have, which is like it's too much responsibility for me, and I fuck it up every time. And I don't mean fuck it up like in a cool way, like rappers say it. I'm saying like I fuck up my own order for my own taste buds every time I'm there.
That seems like a you problem, honestly.
It is, yeah, for sure.
So we'll get to this question here in a second in the chat, but I do want to say I kind of see this happening as maybe the Big Ten tries to grab the Arizona States and the Oregons, Washingtons, and keeps that kind of regional play.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, I mean, if we're going to like 20 to 24 team super conferences, it's not like you're playing every single team every year. You could legitimately take almost, basically pluck the Pac-12 teams that you want,
which they're doing.
Make that the West Coast division of the Big Ten, and not have to worry about the logistics of travel being any different than what they're used to now. And that's why I see the SEC swooping into the ACC, because let's be honest, I mean, Clemson, Miami, Florida State, UNC, Notre Dame's going to be a huge domino, by the way. I don't think in this new
format. Are they
format,
going to be?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they're not going to go into conference. Absolutely. You can't. How could they afford to not at this point?
Because they're going to expand the playoff. They're going to get it into the playoff. Oh, shit. They're going to get in the playoff no matter what.
I think that you won't be able to afford to be independent in this model.
I hope you're right. Well, here's the other part too. I can see the big like land grab, for lack of better words, of the like reaching out to the Pac-12 from the Big Ten, because like that would be such a Big Ten move to brag about something that doesn't fucking matter. Like, we have the most teams from the most like square miles in America. I'm like, who fucking cares, dude? But like the point you brought up earlier, and this is what people sometimes don't understand about like big time sports. I don't think the ACC is dead. I just don't. They have 16 teams in there. You could actually afford to lose a couple, as long as it's not Clemson and all those other ones. If there are two super conferences, then they will pluck them. But let's not forget how dominant the ACC is in basketball, top to bottom. So that is arguably the biggest money making sport because of March Madness. But the other part is like the whole reach and Kansas has got to be the next domino to fall in my opinion. But they're also, Kansas is big enough of an asshole, if they were a person, that like to not leave the Big 12 just so they can keep winning the Big 12 in basketball. I mean, Kansas kind of sucks.
Yeah, Kansas is, I mean, their obviously basketball program makes a ton of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say, I saw Robbie Buffington said Clemson, Florida State, Miami, Georgia Tech. I don't think Georgia Tech. I think Tech seems more like a Big Ten kind of trying to come down and have some teams in the South. They seem more like a Big Ten team than
Tech?
Like a UNC, NC State, maybe even like a Virginia Tech. I could see coming over to the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely Clemson, Florida State, Miami.
It's pretty crazy because you talk about Atlanta being like the football capital of the South. They play in the oldest stadium in college football. It's just, I just want Tech to be fucking respectable again. I just hate it so much. And I know we're an SEC, like primarily an SEC podcast, where we are talking like more national stuff nowadays.
I will say that, I mean, this kind of move changes a lot for a lot of programs that are not in the SEC and the Big Ten. I saw something earlier today. One of the USC 247 publishers was being interviewed by Josh Pate, and he said, just by joining the Big Ten, USC is going to go from making about $30 million a year annually on the network, like the Pac-12 network contract, to almost $100 million. Just by going to the Big Ten.
Hold on. What were they making before?
30. No joke.
I forgot there's a Pac-12 network.
Right, exactly. That's why. And the ACC, the same thing. Like, there's a reason, and I think Clemson's day is coming too. If things stay the same,
$50 million to leave. I didn't mean
there's a reason that Florida State, Miami, And I think Clemson will, at the same time, not be able to compete right now because it's the same setup in the ACC. The ACC network sucks. It just joined Comcast this year after like 5 years of being in existence. Their contract's similar to the Pac-12, $30 million a year for each school. SEC's triple that. So it's like,
also, like, fuck the ACC network. I'm sorry for using all this harsh language so early on, but like the year that we were like, wasn't it 2020 when we were like all of us fucking starving for college football season because the year was shit, and they had the first game of the year being Clemson Georgia Tech, but it was only on the ACC network, so nobody could watch it. Actually, that wasn't 2020. Either way, they did that one year and I hated it. So there's that.
Okay, fair. All right, so why don't we do this then? Because I think it's pretty much inevitable at this point. And and honestly, a lot of people try to make like the TV market comparison, like, hey, you know, if the SEC wants to get some reach, they'll go out to a Kansas and grab the Midwest. And I don't think TV markets even matter anymore with the way that people consume media.
Somebody said this the other day, and it was like, I think it was like a respectable person, and it was one of the dumbest fucking comments I've ever heard, because it was like, the SEC should reach out to West Virginia. It'd be a new market for them. And I was like, what market? You tell you what, if you haven't been to the Morgantown market, like if you told me you should check out the Morgantown market, even if it was a place like to buy goods, I definitely wouldn't go there. I don't trust anything about that. But also, like, I think you're right. I don't think markets do really matter as much anymore, because like you said, the way people consume media. And what is interesting is like how all of this has to be a bubble. Maybe it's just because of fucking Biden's America, excuse my language, but like, I just keep expecting all of this bubble to burst because you're basing all of this on television money. And I'm assuming that's going to pay off. But like, I don't know. It's just like, if it's, I don't like, the whole point of the sport too, that we're not going to talk about enough tonight is like, you know, like, I don't want to watch a USC Oregon Rose Bowl, you know, there's like some things, and all jokes aside, like the Rose Bowl itself was one of the main reasons people tried to keep some of this structure and like the nostalgia and history of college football in place, like with the Pac-12 and the Big Ten and the Alliance, and all that kind of shit, because like everyone loves the Rose Bowl. It's like, I don't know. What's it like? Cold water or boobs? It's like everyone loves those things. I don't know. Maybe not.
Some people like lukewarm water, honestly, which is weird.
Yeah. Some people hate boobs.
And some people really don't like boobs either, you know?
I don't like mine, so.
Oh, we got Eddie Booza in the chat.
Eddie Booza. We got to get him on the show. I'm going to say it.
Oh, well, we'll get him on the show one day. Don't worry about that. Yeah, I just so my little exercise I wanted to do, doesn't have to be anything formal, but SEC has got the Oklahoma, Texas coming in 2025, which I think now this maybe speeds up the timeline as well, because the Big Ten, USC and UCLA have officially put out that they are joining in the 2024 season. So that's happening. Right. So that means that only in 2 more football seasons that will be a thing, which is just insane to think about.
Also we thought that on July 1st of this year, so tomorrow, or when this aired, well, this is live, but like depending on time.
Was that July 1st last year?
No, it's July 1st, like 2025, but everyone thought, like, they were like, everyone kept saying, if you think this is going to go past next year, you're crazy. They're going to, you know, all the money. And I mean, I'm like, some people fear change. I'm just fucking tired of it because there's been so much of it in my life the past year. So I would it'd be nice if somebody came out with an announcement. They're like, hey, listen, like Vanderbilt, like came out like right before the season, like, listen, we want everyone to hear us very clearly. We're going to go 3-9. We're going to say it right now. We're going fucking 3-9. Nothing's going to change on our end. Like, and I would feel so like warm and comforted by that, you know?
Yeah. What is Vandy thinking right about now?
Just like the same thing. If you went up to I hate to say it because I hate cliches, but like if like a jock from high school told like a nerdy kid in high school, like about a score of like a game, like, okay, I got to get back to studying. I don't fucking care. I don't it's just like, neat. Just talk to us. We'll just see you in fucking February when baseball season starts. We're not friends in the offseason. Vandy is like, you know how you haven't been single for a long time, But if you're like single and you live in the city, like in your 20s, it's always beneficial to have a friend that either lives close to the bars or has a pool. And then most of the time, that person's not your friend. It's like a seasonal friend, or like a friend,
Right.
like, you know, girls are, especially with the fucking fourth, fucking 20-year-old, like $30,000 millionaires from Buckhead, like warming up to any dude with a boat to go to Lake Lanier. Like
Right.
that's basically Vandy, but not as hot, and they make more money than $30,000.
Yeah, they gain a bunch of weight in the winter, but the summer rolls around. They go on a serious diet, make
Yeah,
themselves look a little more presentable.
get their teeth white. This kind of seems
AKA baseball season. And
this
then
feels
we
a
just
little
go
reckless,
back
and I think we
to
can probably stop.
lots of potato chips. And anyways, so now that we're two new for the SEC, 2 new for the Big Ten.
Right.
What is the next domino to fall in your opinion? You said Kansas. I don't think that.
I think Kansas is the next one.
You think Kansas is really the next one?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, do you not? Here's something else too. That, like, we need people to start being in this live. This is so damn fun when we do this, and we have like a good turnout right now again, which is awesome, and it's only going to grow. But like, I just know for me, if you're a listener in your car, and then I already have such horrifically bad ADD that I'm just jumping around from topic to topic, it's got to be even worse than that. But like, we got to figure out a way to monitor the stuff that people.
You just can't. You just have to refuse to look at the comments.
There's no chance.
Which is, I know you're really good at.
What if somebody says something mean about me, or something that I need to argue about, or like it says I'm cute? I don't know. No. Okay. I think Kansas because, all right, you have to look at it from this perspective. What national brands are out that hold weight in anything, right? And I'm talking about, like, Clemson is be at the top of the list, right? Miami, I guess Florida State. I
would say this: you could laugh, but Florida State, despite how bad they've been in football, are still the #1 revenue generator in the ACC. So they would be the first pick. I don't care what recent 5-year history we've had in football. Florida State would be the first pick from the ACC to go to the SEC.
Well, that's because Jimbo he's the one that got him there.
Put him on the map.
We are going to talk about this too, by the way. A&M fans,
video that came out,
getting out of this. Anyway, but no. So I think Kansas, because I think any move from the ACC is going to be a group move, which is going to be harder to do. You're going to have to get everyone on board. Yeah, apparently you have to fill out an application. Like, you talk about how they asked to join. Like, I would love to see that application.
See, I think that the SEC is going to consistently be the one in this conversation that makes the next power move. They made the first power move with Oklahoma, Texas.
Yeah.
This is essentially a response by the Big Ten. And so I just think the next SEC move will be to announce like 4, 5, 6 teams. Like, all these people are joining the SEC. 6. I said it.
The fucking Patriots. Here's my thing too, Tyler. Let's not forget about this. When Big Dick Greg Sankey comes in the building and he tries to make a point, you can add, if you want to be in the alliance, you can add the Patriots. You could add the Yankees. I don't give a fuck what sport. What basketball? Add the 90 Bulls, the 96 Bulls if you want to. Okay, the path to a title and a natty still runs to the SEC, brother. I think we'd all agree on that. Roll Tide.
And Nick Saban in particular.
Nick Saban even had the best tweet of the day, and it ended up being very true after talking to Kristen. But she was like, somewhere on like Lake Burton, Nick Saban is just like riding around in like a backwards hat and a Yankees shirt with just not a care in the world, doesn't give a fuck about any of this. And then like 20 minutes later, Kristen sent us a picture, and he's literally riding on the boat with a backwards hat, doesn't have the Yankee shirt on, but every other part of it was true. Like, the SEC, this is, in the grand scheme of things, it will affect us, but it's like there also has to be some level of like scoffing, like, who fucking cares?
What does this say? Oh, that's fine. All right, so let me ask you this. There's clearly, each conference has like a cutoff of who will probably make it into these 2 super conferences.
We're drafting.
So let me give you the ACC, for example, because I'm looking at this list. I think it's reasonably... I think you'd reasonably assume that like Syracuse and Boston College probably aren't going to make it into this super conference. they don't really contribute much to anything and in any sports. But like a Louisville, for example, Louisville's a great example of a college who that'll be interesting because they're
picking up in recruiting.
They're consistently good at basketball and baseball. They're starting to pick up in recruiting and football, and they've been. I mean, they're not horrible. Like they had. I mean, they had Lamar Jackson who won a Heisman when he was there. I mean,
and Johnny Unitas,
right?
They made a BCS bowl. I know at least in 2012, which I know
and it's a good program, and it'd be
a top 5 team 5 years ago,
right? So they probably would make it in, but then what about NC State?
Oh, see, that's tough too. Okay, the thing about Louisville is like you brought up a good point with the baseball too. They've gone to the World Series they're
a really good baseball program
for the past 10 years or something crazy. That's a good question about NC State because in the whole thing about Tobacco Road, like the ACC, I don't care how this sounds, and I know we shit on the ACC, but I've told y'all before, I just have this like weird fascination with like it's so pretty, like all those campuses seem so pretty and seem like such a fun Saturday. If there was an SEC football on, like they should just move the ACC games to Friday. I would go to every fucking stadium. It would be the best, especially like when it gets like October, November with that crisp weather. No, Syracuse and who was the other one?
Boston College.
Yeah, they're out. I mean, Boston College is going to be pretty good this year, so maybe they'll make a run. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
They're not good in any other sport. And they've also had multiple scandals.
Pitt feels like a great Big Ten team.
Okay, but here's the thing too.
Wake Forest.
Okay, so Tobacco Road, real quick on Pitt. What do you do with teams like that? Because one of the Big Ten's real big things is they are very, very big on like tradition and thinking like shit like that matters to like, the Big Ten was formed in 1896. I mean, that's a long time, right? So if Pitt is playing in fucking Heinz Stadium, I think that maybe that sounds stupid, but I think that might be an issue. But they also have a good basketball team. I'm so conflicted. Go back to Wake and NC State. All these North Carolina schools where you raise up, take your shirt off, and twist like a helicopter. What are they going to do?
Duke probably seems like more like a Big Ten, but then you get the basketball program, who's probably like the number 1 or 2 or maybe 3 most profitable programs in the country.
Top 3, right?
Yeah.
You think UNC and Duke are like a what do you call it? A package deal?
Package deal. I would think so. Florida State and Florida are rivalries, and they're in different conferences. I mean, it could be done. It's just it seems weird. Yeah. What about the SEC moving out to the Pac-12 and trying to scoop up like an Oregon or a Washington?
There's no fucking way. There's
no way.
I tell you what,
no way.
There's no way. There's no way. If the SEC picks up, or if the Southeastern Conference, it just means more. Hey, y'all, we love sweet tea and football and all that shit. If the SEC goes and gets Oregon, I will, publicly and on air, switch my allegiances to Oregon State for the rest of my life. That's how wrong I would be. Yeah. That's and I'm not saying that because I'd be mad about the SEC. I'm just saying there's no fucking way it'll happen. There's no way. Also, I'm really bad at predicting the future. I mean, as anybody that's kept up with me. So,
I don't know, man. I could see look, the Big Ten. Did you see the Big Ten going and getting USC?
No, it's true. But okay.
I think this is everything is about to be turned on its head, and I think it's going to happen over the course of the next 3 months.
Okay, hold on. I feel like I shit on your game because I kept interrupting you because I'm so confused. But are we doing a draft of
No, there's no game. I just wanted to go through the conferences and be like, okay, which teams will be plucked.
Let's play a game.
Okay.
We got time.
All right, so let's play a game. Let's make up a game right now. So we're big on drafts.
Damn it, Tyler.
So why don't we just start drafting teams? I'll give you the SEC since you're that guy, right? I'll take the Big Ten. You're the S. I mean, you're Vern Fun.
I think I've become kind of a pretty big SEC homer.
Yeah, I would say that's probably. All right, so let's bring up a list of teams. I'll keep track of this.
Okay. I mean, well, let's just pick which team goes next, right? Actually, no, I like your idea better. I need to stop talking.
All right, so since the SEC is a better conference than the Big Ten, let me go first.
Okay.
So now I have the Big Ten plus USC and UCLA. My first pick in the Big Ten. We're just taking anybody.
Take whoever you want.
Anybody you want. I will take.
Let me think about from one of these two conferences.
Right. We're plucking from new conferences, right?
Right.
All right. What about Notre Dame?
They're not.
Is this not on the list? I'm taking Notre Dame with
first games. It's like when we did the betting games. Like, what's the first pick you're going to take? I'm going to take. Okay, the first overall pick is going to be like it was like minus 1,600.
Does that not count? All right, fine. Then I will take. Now I'm going to sound like a homer. No, I'm going to take Notre Dame. That's a fair pick. You're up. SEC.
Oregon.
You're taking Oregon?
No, I'm not taking Oregon. Okay, hear me out here. And now keep in mind, I'm not good with money or logic. We all know that. Let's just move on from it. I'm taking Miami. I'm not taking Clemson. Yeah. I'm taking Miami. I think it's a program on the rise. I think they have enough history to be. I think they're a blue blood. Oh God.
All right. Then as the Big Ten, I will take Florida State.
I don't even know what the 36-30 parallel is, Eddie.
I'm taking Florida State for the Big Ten. You're taking, I'm guessing, Clemson.
Why would you take Florida State? They're in town. All right. Well, yeah, I'm taking Clemson. I hate the way you play games.
What's the problem?
We should get, what we should do is go to the lake one weekend. I think Liz's family has a lake house. We're going this weekend. You should come up. We should play one game of Monopoly and end our friendship.
What is wrong with my Florida State pick? You tell me what's wrong.
I think it's a little high. Okay. I think they're a much better fit in the SEC. I don't think Florida State. I don't think if the Big Ten went to Florida State, we're like, hey guys, come in this van. We got candy or whatever they're saying. Because I don't know what Kevin Warren's fucking pitch could be. I don't think Florida State's at the drop of a hat being like, yes. But maybe they are. Maybe they're that desperate now.
Well, A, they are. And B, I'm not saying as a fan of Florida State, I would rather be in the SEC. Also, I think more logically, they would be in the SEC. But this is a draft, motherfucker. And that was my pick.
We don't talk enough about this either, is that on the actual campus of Florida State, there's a circus.
There is.
That's so weird. I remember doing research on this, and they're a top 10 circus school in America. The success, like very proudly.
That's a tough stat to overcome.
Circuses you've ever fucking seen, brother.
All right, so okay, I'm going to shift my focus here.
I'm up. No, you're up.
You took Clemson, so you got Miami and Clemson. I got Notre Dame and Florida State. I am going to go out to the West Coast and take Oregon and that Nike money.
Oh, that doesn't really matter, but okay. I tell you what I'm doing then. I'm taking Oh, I just spit all over my computer.
You're taking Kansas?
I'm taking Kansas. Now, hear me out here. Kansas, Missouri is one of the fiercest rivalries in college across a lot of sports. They hate each other. They fucking hate each other. I think if you've already gone out to Missouri, what's one state over? Is Kansas one state over? I don't know shit about Kansas.
You don't know shit about maps either.
Yeah, that's why I don't know. I mean, like, I've said this before, and I fully mean it. Kansas just seems like one 2-lane highway with like roadside diner pie, and that's it. Like, that's the whole fucking state. Maybe a couple tumbleweeds. I don't know. I'm taking Kansas because think about this from a basketball standpoint, and the SEC kind of like solidified itself this year as having more like of a. Someone said Kansas is just a shittier Duke. That's so true. Okay, but here's the thing. Hear me out. You have the built-in rivalry with Missouri. That's very big. And you talk about having a basketball conference where you're having Kansas play Kentucky every year. That's fucking huge.
Yeah, no, it is. Schneids makes a good comment here with the Stussy symbol in his logo, which, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen that. Why don't you guys draft two at a time? Well, had we thought about that, maybe that was a good idea. but
feels like Tyler would probably immediately shift to 4 at a time and let me only take 1 the way he plays games.
No. All right, so I'm up. You took Kansas. I'm between 2 schools here, but I think I'm going to end up going.
I'll fight you.
I'm going with Baylor.
What?
Baylor,
Why?
big money, gives me the Texas. I need Texas. I'm in the Big 12. I'm in the Big 10. I have no Texas in the Big 10. I need Texas. Texas and Texas A&M are already taken. I'm not going to take Texas Tech. That seems mischievous. All right. Baylor is my pick, and I'm hoping you don't steal my next pick.
I think I know who your next pick is. Wait, hold on. Fuck. I forgot about the entire ACC again.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm taking UNC.
Ah, damn it! You did take.
I thought yours was going to be Oklahoma State. That's how easily.
Well, that is my next pick, so I'm going with Oklahoma State is my next pick. We'll do 5 picks each. So this is your final pick. What do you got?
I will say this, and Georgia fans, I have to get at you at least once every show, okay? But from 1998 to 2000, Georgia Tech beat Georgia 3 years in a row. And it was the 3 best damn years of my life. We had Thong Song came out. Juvenile became a force in the rap game. Will Smith, he was still getting jiggy with it. And like all the Men in Black stuff. It was just a better time to be alive. No one took Duke.
Ben says if you take UNC, you have to take Duke.
Yeah, I take Duke, I guess. I just love Georgia Tech. I don't know why.
All right. So you've got Miami, Duke, Clemson, UNC, Duke, and Kansas. A lot of ACC teams in there. Didn't venture too far out.
Better.
Yeah, in the chat, who do you like better? My draft or Chris's? I've got Notre Dame, Florida State, Oregon, Baylor, Oklahoma State. Chris has Miami, Clemson, Kansas, UNC, Duke. These are added to the SEC. Mine were added to the Big 10.
Surface level, it sounds like yours is a lot better. Also, getting Clemson with the 4th overall pick feels like an ACL injury that somebody dropped in the 2nd round. So
that's factoring in for Dabo refusing to adapt to like NIL or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to start our own conference with Grand Canyon University, and it's going to be a Christian conference. And we're never going to play on Sundays. We're actually not going to allow anyone to leave their house, especially if they have anything showing their ankles on Sundays. If you told me tomorrow that Clemson was going to join a fucking conference with BYU and Grand Canyon, Ben knows what's up. I wouldn't be that surprised.
Dude, Oklahoma State, Baylor, and Oregon, and Florida State all have pretty decent basketball programs as well, though.
Cool. They have the best basketball programs or what?
The best? Well, Baylor was in the championship game a couple of years ago. Didn't they win it, actually?
Who?
Baylor?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
So, yeah, pretty damn good basketball program, I would say.
We lost by 11 to Bama this year, so they're not that great. Don't forget Liberty. That's also a good point. Riley Williams, first off, I love Riley Williams for being in here and always making so many comments. This is great. He brings up a joke about Bishop Sycamore versus Grand Canyon. I don't know if we should sleep on Grand Canyon. It's a very weird school. You've been out to, what's it called?
Arizona?
Arizona confuses me so much as a state.
Or is the Grand Canyon College not at the Grand Canyon?
No, it's right outside of Scottsdale. Like you can, perfect. I think we drove by it or some shit, but it's like also it's a for-profit university, which is like, I remember Allie told me that and I was like, okay, well they kind of all are. So I don't understand why we're upset about that. But like, it is a very weird looking school from like a surface level because they make all those fucking commercials like Phoenix University or University of Phoenix. But they were ranked in like the top 25 in baseball. And I think they made the tournament in basketball.
So Ben says Kentucky, Kansas, UNC, and Duke are the 4 best basketball programs ever and would be in the same conference. Fantastic point. However, Kansas and Duke have historically horrific football programs.
Yeah. Willie Gray and Schneid 787 have made 2 unbelievably good points. Willie Gray said Jackson State. I like that. But Schneid saying the less they believe in evolution, the more funding they get. It's
fair. Well, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of news to break over the coming months on all this stuff. I truly believe that we're going to see a lot of dominoes fall pretty fast. I hope I'm right on that, by the way.
Season now.
Yeah, we're entering into deep pod season coming up. So this second one of the week, we will not be recording this coming Monday because, of course, we'll be celebrating
America,
the birth of Jesus Christ himself, USA.
I tell you what, I want everyone on Monday morning to open up your hymnals to this all-time fucking banger, and that is from Lee Greenwood, God Bless the USA. Let me tell you a story real quick, Tyler, because I don't talk enough on this pod. There used to be across from the aquarium in Atlanta, the National Museum of Patriotism. That was the actual name, and it's in where that like fucking mini Dave and Buster's is now. It did not last long. But it was the National Museum of Patriotism. And I remember walking in there when I was like 26 and super broy, not like I am now when I'm like so developed into a adult. And I was like, I remember walking in there and they had like the weirdest memorabilia. Like they had shards from like the World Trade Center. They had like a motorcycle that someone had just painted scenes of war on. Like not even like Iwo Jima. It was just scenes of war. like just
any war.
Just people with like bayonets in like a very just, no context field. And then there was like the proudest thing they had was like under these lights in the middle of the whole fucking thing. And it was like a jean, like denim onesie, zip up from the belly button with stars down the arms and like maybe fringe. And it was worn by Lee Greenwood at a concert in like 1990. And that was like one of the things they had at the National Museum of Patriotism. It was fucking incredible. Also, he's from Canada.
Oh, good.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm sure there'll be more to come here as the days go on, and we will certainly get to that in our next episode if things do go down. But in the meantime, let us know what you guys think. Maybe Chris can make a great graphic of our two new divisions. Why not?
Because of what happened with Texas A&M today.
Oh, okay.
We're going to talk about this for a minute. Did you not see this?
No, I saw it.
Okay. So video comes out of one of Texas A&M's coaches, assistant coaches. He's bringing players around like on the field for recruiting. And somebody catches it on like video. I'm trying to find the exact tweet or the exact, what do you call it? Quote. But journalism's never really been our thing anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The comment was, y'all getting a lot of money from these people behind these suites if you decide to come play here. Why is that a big deal, Tyler?
You're not allowed to induce recruits with NIL money.
You're not?
No.
I didn't know induce. I think you're using induce wrong. I think it's only with labor.
No, you're not allowed to induce. Inducement is a real thing. You should check it out.
Okay. One, I didn't know that. That's not why it's a big deal. Why it's a big deal is because Jimbo Fisher went out of his way to make this very bizarre scene. And I think you might have said it even during one of like the shows. And it was like, whenever people are lying, like whenever they're lying and it's like very obvious, one of the main things they tell you is that one, you look up to the left, and then two, you like anybody that's that defensive over something like out of the gates, something's up, right? Yeah. Like, and it just like there
was those darty eyes too. He's like,
yeah, exactly. But it's a shame we got to have this press conference. Like you fucking called it. Like this could have been an email, all that shit. But like he went out of his way, and then you think about really think about this, Tyler. Like, and I know I'm a Bama fan, so this is purely for the most part coming from a homer standpoint. But like the shit he said about Saban, the stuff he thinks he's God, the stuff I could tell, that guy. Some people like thinking they're God. He thinks that when something doesn't go his way, I could tell you some stories, like all that kind of shit about like what's going on behind the scenes and all this cheating and like this very vague accusations. You think about how over the top that was, and then the reaction we had to it. And then this is the kind of shit that we all knew was happening. We all knew this was happening. And I want to say this too, again, to A&M fans. It doesn't fucking matter because you're allowed to give NIL money. So it's so weird. Even today, one of the biggest A&M like Twitter handles made a comment under the video, and it was like, y'all love making blah, blah, blah out of zero context. And what he's referring to is the Aggie Network. And that's with A&M donors hiring A&M like players and alum and blah, 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 and working together throughout like Fortune 500 companies and long after they graduate. And I was like, you imagine the level of delusion you have to within yourself to convince yourself that statement was fucking real. I mean, think about that. Like that person thought about that, wrote it down with his thumbs, and then was like, yeah, send tweet.
This is all, it's going to be so fun to watch in October.
Yeah, I guess. Not if they lose.
Oh, please. You got that dark, what is it? Dark masculine energy.
I just think it's funny because it's, it's what really weirds me out about it. And I think it is a big deal that it was said just because of, man, if Saban had said something and like he could have easily looked like the asshole. Like Jimbo could have just played like rope-a-dope and sat back and been like, I have no comment on that. Obviously, Nick is speculating. He feels threatened or he's upset that we won last year. Like one up him in some other kind of way of shit talk. But you called a press conference that we've never seen before in the offseason to address something that you are now, it's pretty obvious that you were lying about.
I feel like everyone just kind of assumed that though, right? I mean,
well, yeah, even like the next day, like no one ever brought this part up when he was like, we didn't pay for a single kid. And then like, he then checked with compliance like days later after he had the press conference, which like, just fucking Google it beforehand, dude, before you go to the press conference. And he asked, and he's like, we only paid one. So it's like, okay, you've already lied. I just don't get it. And as somebody that's never lied in my entire life, I just wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. So
you're not big lie guys,
Yeah, not
on this pod.
That's
well,
it. I guess it's going to be over now.
What's going to be fun is Florida State and Alabama being in the same conference soon. Oh yeah, buddy. Let's get ready.
Yeah. Are we going to go to that game? They play each other in like 2 years.
Dude, the schedule is going to get all fucked up after this.
Yeah. Also, I remember bringing that up to you like years ago, and you were like, I'm going to be 40, so I'm sure we're not going. I was like, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's sooner than we hope, actually.
Yeah, we're
unfortunately. All right. Well, hey, everybody, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go click the little bell to notify when we go live. I did it myself. I actually get emails now when we go live, which is great.
Nice.
If you're an email guy. Go, obviously, if you're listening to the pod, go like and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, go give us a 5-star review. Go follow us on Twitter at CFB_uncensored. Maybe the Instagram too. We'll see if we start posting content there.
I should have posted that today. Hey, real quick, shout out to everyone that joined the Facebook or the Instagram. Wow. The live podcast tonight, because we didn't even promote it. And this was great. I love having all the comments and shit like that. And we'll have to, at some point I'll start learning how to do my job and I'll start promoting it more, except for actually, you know what tonight is? Stranger Things. I'll probably forget again because I'm going to be very, very, is Hoboken a real place? Is Hoboken a real place?
Hey, we'll end it with this. Shout out Robbie Buffington. He said R.I.P. DeAndre Francois. I agree. R.I.P. the program that day. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.